Okay, welcome everyone to this week's Digital Marketing Teardowns live session. My name's Tim. I'm Head Ninja at Exposure Ninja, as you may or may not know. We are trying to go live today on 3 platforms across Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. The little button is telling me that it's working, so hopefully you can see and hear this. Let me know in some kind of chat somewhere if you can. That would be awesome. And we will get started. So we're looking at a whole bunch of different sites today in completely different spaces, but I was trying to work out what the kind of theme was between some of the sites that we're looking at today. And there's quite a few of them that have been heavily impacted by lockdown and this whole thing that's happened this year, which I'm not going to bang on too much about. But I think what's most interesting, particularly if we're talking about an industry like weddings, where obviously, a lot of my friends are in wedding bands and stuff like that, and because that's the kind of world that I came from. Hey, Elaine. Then it's been a year where you've actually had virtually nothing or completely nothing, and the booking calendar might look completely empty for 2021 as well. We can't predict what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen in the next year. And I think if there's anything that this year has taught us, it's that. But what we can do from a digital marketing perspective is get ourselves visibility and have a number of contingency plans in place. For example, we've got clients in travel, we've got clients in weddings. And what we're saying to them is, when lockdown eases or there is a vaccine, there could be a couple of different options. This could be open the floodgates. Everyone's going to pour into international travel again because we've all been held back. There's going to be, pent up demand, similar to what we saw with housing market. So that's one option. And if that's the case, you need to have ad campaigns, you need to have content, you need to have offers, you need to have flexibility with pricing to be able to manage it to match demand, ready to go. You need to be able to respond quickly. You don't want to be like, oh, this huge wave of bookings came on our site and it took us a month to update to let people know that we're now taking bookings for like late 2021 or something like that. So you need to be flexible if this is going to be kind of floodgate opening moment. The second possibility is that there's a kind of trickle, because people are still a little bit cautious. People don't know if there's going to be, they don't believe in the vaccine or, whatever it might be. And in that case, obviously you need a completely different approach to the digital marketing. You need to still be encouraging people, still be kind of pushing people towards demand. You need to have signals that, social proof type things that demand is building up again. So you need ad platforms, you need content that are ready to go that way. Or the third combination is it starts with a trickle and then turns into a flood, where you're going to have a combination. So we're going to look at some businesses today that have been heavily impacted by lockdown. Not all of them that we're going to look at are heavily impacted by lockdown, but we're going to look at some that have been heavily impacted by lockdown. And we'll talk about what you can be doing to get yourself to the front of the queue. It's like, queuing up at the taxi rank, ready for the flight to come in. What can you do to make yourself at the front of the queue? How can you prepare? What best can you be doing during this time when things are a little bit quieter to make the most of it when it comes back? So a whole bunch of different sites we're going to be looking at. Let me just take out some of these things. Ping! And let's get a screen share in there as well. We're using new software, new platforms, new everything. Who knows how it's going to go? Let's find out together. Okay, so we're going to look at, we're looking at this e-com site first of all, obviously not particularly lockdown one. Then we're looking at a wedding photographer, we're looking at an independent publisher, we're looking at a travel mountain guides, we're looking at Majestic Wine as well. And then finally, we've got a travel blog as well. As always, feel free to stick your sites in the comment section. Depending on what platform you're on, your comment may be filtered if you include your URL, in which case you just want to put, say you wanted to put Exposure Ninja in the comments, you just put Exposure Ninja .com rather than exposureninja.com. And we'll keep an eye on the comments and see what we can do to get some of your sites in today as well. So first site that was being submitted, this is AOSOM. I'm not sure if that's awesome.co.uk. E-commerce site, looks like across a range of product categories. So immediately you're thinking, okay, this is a potential, if you're going to pick a competitor, let's choose Amazon. If you're going to pick a competitor, then pick a competitor. Let's do it. So yeah, obviously there's product categories here that Amazon doesn't particularly compete with. Things in garden and outdoor and like home office furniture type stuff seems to be fairly safe at the moment, although who knows what's going to happen. So there's one thing in the back of your mind whenever you're looking at a site like this, which is how do you position yourself against more familiar competitors that people might have. So we'll come to that as we go through. Layout of the site looks pretty solid. So might be a little bit short on some of these columns, which might make them a little bit difficult to click on a smaller screen. Particularly some of these kind of subcategory buttons might be a bit tricky. The image is also going to be a little bit too small. So rather than trying to list product images on this homepage, I'd be more inclined to go for product categories and just trying to get people into the right product category for them. You know, the chance of someone landing on an e-commerce homepage and buying a polytunnel because they've seen it on the homepage is probably fairly low. So what we do instead would be to put the best selling, the most popular, the widest appeal products on this homepage, or the ones with the biggest discount, to set the scene for people with this is what you're going to get on the site. Which, to be fair, all of these items are Black Friday, so perhaps that is their strategy. So I'll be more focusing on category and maybe bring the category section up on the site. First, let's have a look at some of their product and category pages, and then we're going to have a look at visibility, because that's really a big part of what this is going to be about. Let's choose a category which we all can relate to: desks, because we're all working from home office desks, no doubt. So probably most of the people watching this have shopped for a desk at some point this year. So here we have the desks category page. So if you've been a long time watcher of the Exposure Ninja Friday Teardowns, you'll know immediately what we're going to talk about here. What do you think could be improved about this desks category page? I'm interested. Drop it in the comments. There is one glaring thing. Well, there's a couple of glaring things, if I'm honest. Okay, we've got some people submitting sites. Thank you. We'll get on to those in just a minute. So what would we change about this e-commerce category page? Because this would be the page that we want to get ranked for desks, okay? Broadest term we want it to get ranked for would be desks. We might want to segment this into home office desks, study desks, you know, kind of separate pages, desks on wheels. That's another conversation. But if we're trying to get it ranked for desks, it's going to be very difficult when we've only got the word desks and we don't have too much text copy on the page. We're still seeing text copy on e-commerce category pages as being an important ranking consideration. Google has to know, why should I rank this page over any other? And relevance, which, you know, a lot of relevance comes from the text copy on the page, is still important. So I'd love to see some kind of desks selection guide, desk buyer's guide, a few tips, and also having some subcategories in here as well. So home office desks, wooden desks, home study desks. Some of these look like they might be laptop desks, so things that you'd put on your lap while you're watching TV, maybe. I'm not too sure, but, you know, subcategorization, because what that subcategorization allows you to do is have category pages underneath this desk parent category. So desk is the top level, which would be very difficult to rank for, but then you might have portable laptop desks, you might have home office desks, you might have wooden desks, and then you can start to rank these less competitive, actually higher commercial intent subcategory pages. So that would be one thing that you could do, as well as the text copy. But we need to get more info on this page. At the moment, this is a category page is unlikely to rank particularly well. I say that before checking the ranking. So, you know, this might be one of those sites where you check the ranking and you're blown away, but I expect they're going to be struggling to rank this category page. One thing I do like is that maybe not so much with these products, but with a lot of the products on the site, the product images match. Now, they're not manufacturing all of these products. They may or may not be holding stock. I don't really know. But one of the kind of giveaways of a lower quality site is that the product imagery doesn't match, because it's all taken from the manufacturer. So I think probably what they've done here is just cut the backgrounds out of each product, which is fine. And it means that you can show product images throughout the site that match and they look like they're from the same thing. That's a really good start. Okay, the Millennium Hub says, does it make a difference where the copy is on the page? Good question. The implementation, which tends to be the most popular, is you have a small amount of copy at the top in an accordion. Okay, so you have a small amount of good quality information at the top of the page. You click read more and it expands a little bit. And then you might have a bigger section of copy at the bottom of the page, which would be your buyer's guide. Now, if you look at it cynically, and as SEOs, that kind of tends to be the bucket that we all slide down into. The text copy at the bottom of a long category page is clearly not there for user experience, right? No one's scrolling. You land on a desk page and you're like, oh, I don't know how to buy a desk. Let's scroll to the bottom and see if I can find some information here, right? Obviously, that's just there for SEO. So the other thing I would challenge you on is, how can you use, given it's like how you asked the question, right? Given that we need to have a lot of text copy on this page, how can we present it in a way that's most useful to the customer? So it's going to be something about, like at the top, there's going to be some kind of guidance. In fact, one of my favorite stores from the 2013, 2014 period, in the early days of Exposure Ninja, we would always use Bath store as an example. I haven't been on the site a little while, so let's see how they're doing here. But they did a great job of their category pages, monster ranking. Let's see what they're doing now. Okay, not very much. A little bit too much white space above the fold here as well. Not much need for that. Then if we scroll down the page, what do we see? All right, so they've only got this small amount here. So I would think about what you might want to do is have a small amount like this, but then link through to buyer's guides or something like that, which could be hosted in a knowledge base section on the site, so as not to break up that page too much. But you're going to need some category description page copy. Okay, product pages. Yeah, I mean, they're not working too hard on these. These all look like manufacturer images, so it's not like they've brought something in and they're taking photos of it. Yes, you could do better with a video guide to it. That type of thing is always going to improve conversion rate. But do you have the information that you need to buy this? Possibly. We've got some interesting stuff down here. We've got a loyalty scheme. We've got a sharing on Facebook, say 15% sharing, get a discount. I have to be honest, I'm a little bit overwhelmed by all the different offers. So I can see, just looking at the page here, I know it's Black Friday, so it's a little bit unfair, but we can see 70% off, 15% off, 18% off, 59 loyalty points, 15% off, 34% off, 15% off. And I'm like, I think I'm getting a lot of percent off, but I don't really know how many. And it's kind of like voucher code apocalypse, isn't it? Where you don't buy something because you're not convinced that you've got the best voucher code. You don't want to make it difficult for people to feel like they're getting the best deal. So the potential is here that it's a bit of an overwhelm, and I feel like I'm overpaying for something because I'm not able to figure out how to utilize all of the discounts that are available. So, you know, you don't want to get down that route. Once you start getting too many voucher codes for different amounts online, you don't want to get to a point where you're actually suffering from reduced conversions. So we've got some reviews. This is good. The reviews have pictures. That's great. It looks like, yeah, we have a few, and they're believably low. Bit of information there, text copy. Right, okay, great. So yeah, it's okay. Let's have a look at ranking. I don't expect it's going to be mega for these subcategories, these categories and products, but I am desperate to be proved wrong. We're going to have a look at SEO first, then we'll have a look at PPC and see what they're doing there, as they are doing both. Ryan Park says, stock images, no content apart from the listings. Yes, spot on. Andy says, copy above the fold is generally weighted higher by Google. Most important part is making it work for users with your design. I would trust Andy. He's our head of SEO. You're getting 212% off. Great deal, says Sumo224. Yes. You're not going to lose, are you, with all those discounts? Okay. So organic visibility looks like, I mean, we like this graph. Obviously, 2020 has been decent for them. Branded traffic is reasonable. That's encouraging, as is traffic for this brand Homcom, which I'm not sure. Is that their own brand? I'm not too sure. But the real potential for a business like this is going to be in product category searches, okay? Things like garden swing. So this is a category page, I think. Yeah, category page swing chair, which is ranking position 10 for the 40,000 search term. In fact, let me just change my screen resolution. Sorry, I know that some people are going to be watching this on phone and they're going to be doing themselves a mischief, trying to see what on earth is going on. So let me just figure out this. It's going to go all big and dumb. Let's not try that one. Let's try that one. Okay, it's a bit bigger, a bit higher resolution, a bit lower resolution for you, so hopefully a little bit clearer. Okay, so yeah, garden swing, that's the sort of keyword that if this site wanted to take visibility and sales to the next level, that's the thing they're going to be piling in on. And we know what we're going to be saying here. This is the garden swing page that's trying to rank for garden swing. No text content at all about that, I don't think. Oh, we got a little bit. Hammocks and garden swings, separate those out, 2 different category pages. That means you can go all in on garden swing. But it's interesting, isn't it, that that's the category page that's ranking best for them, and that's the one where they've got some text copy. So yeah, these are 3 separate category pages, and they're 3 separate sets of keywords, 3 separate sets of competitor analysis, 3 separate sets of outreach. Like the key to winning for this is not to put like as many product categories on the same page as possible. You actually want to go super granular. You've got to think, like, if you're competing for a phrase like garden swing, how are you going to beat any of the other sites? It's going to be by giving people the best range possible of garden swings. And if I'm searching for garden swings, I'm probably not looking for hanging chairs or canvases or things like that. So just make it, as focused as possible. Okay, so yeah, that's the strategy, right? It's picking out those product categories, which you have a look at competitors for each of these different product categories. Have a look at search volume. So gazebo position 21, so that's first on page 3, 300,000 searches a month. That's a game changer for this business if you can get ranked in top few positions for something like that. So when you look at a site like this, the SEO campaign is not site-wide SEO necessarily. It's let's pick some categories, let's go hard there, let's build some contents and buyer's guides around these categories, let's do some outreach, let's get some links for these particular product categories. And that allows you to kind of chop it up, win each battle, and then overall, 5 years time, you look back and you're crushing Amazon in the rankings. So that's how I would play that game from an SEO perspective. Let's have a look at some ads, because they are running some ads, and then we'll move on to the next site. Okay, ranking. So we've got some ads for brand names. I'm thinking that they might own these brands. I'm not sure. If they do, then that's a legit strategy, because then you can obviously own the search volume for those. Okay, so it doesn't look like they're actually trying too hard with categories, which I think is possibly sensible. They're more like trying to pick up. I wonder if, one strategy for a business like this, and I don't know if they're doing it because I haven't looked into it any deeper than this, but one strategy would be to get products listed on Amazon and eBay for their owned brands, like if Out Sunny and Homcom, if they are their own, get products listed on Amazon and eBay, and then make sure you're running ads, make sure you're ranking for those branded searches if people take that off Amazon to go and do a bit of analysis into these brands. So that would be something to play with if you're starting your own kind of sub-brands underneath e-commerce. So yeah, I mean, the biggest potential we can see for this business is go hard on this information about products, information about categories, beef up these category pages. They are the ones that should be really working hard for you. And then some kind of content section full of buyer's guides. That's where I'd go with it. Anything else that you would drop in? Let me know in the chat. Oh, we got a lot of comments across all of these. Okay, we've got some people submitting sites. Great. So I'm going to do, we'll do one more, and then we'll do one from the viewers. Okay, so this site, we're looking at a wedding photographer called Manon Porfin. I feel like I know you. I feel like we've met or something. Let me know if we have, if you're watching. There's something familiar about the name. Anyway, it's probably going to be something really embarrassing like you did my wedding. Okay, so wedding photography, one of those businesses which has obviously been absolutely smashed to pieces in lockdown, and virtual online wedding photography is probably limited scope for that. So this is all about getting into a place where when restrictions lift and people are going to get married again, because people will always get married and people will always want photos, how do you make sure you're there? So what do we see at the top here? So we've got a headline that says intimate wedding photographs filled with emotion for couples who follow their hearts. Okay, I actually like There's two things in that headline I really like. Firstly, that you're going hard on the emotion. Now, some people might be scared to do that because they might be like, well, not everybody wants that. Yeah, not everybody wants that. But guess what? If you do want that, then this is really going to resonate with you. The second thing I like is for couples who follow their hearts. This is one of those, it's for, we sell to intelligent people, for bright people who everyone is going to want to think they follow their heart. So I really like that, the fact that you've kind of picked out your target audience, and people who read that are going to think like, yeah, do you know what? I do follow my heart. Well, the reality everyone does when it comes to marriage, isn't it? But I love that headline. There's a lot of, there's a lot of stuff I like about that. Okay. So this looks reasonably good. Some things I would do is maybe play with the layout a bit to reduce some of this white space. Let's have a look at it on mobile, because that's where most of your traffic is going to be playing. Okay, so on mobile, we get a slightly different side of things. I obviously can't see the logo on mobile. The menu is in a color which maybe doesn't stand out too much. So I'd maybe put the menu word there or make it sticky underneath that the top of the screen. I'm not convinced by the checkout basket either. That's a little bit confusing to me because I don't know what I should be buying and putting in my basket on a wedding photography site. So it might make me think that this is a place where I buy photographs rather than book a wedding photographer. So some of those things I think about. Again, I think about white space. Like, I know the pictures do the selling, but we get that picture. We don't need it to be any more than full screen. We don't need this space at the bottom of the page here. We've got a good amount of text copy. We've got some nice pictures as well. So that's cool. We got some guides. Love that. Love that. Love that. Love it. Okay, great. Let's have a look at these elopements. Sounds exciting. Right, let's go back into desktop so I can have a look at this. Okay, I love loads of the stuff that you're doing. You're doing lead gen with the tips for a relaxed wedding. You're not just selling the service, you're trying to generate leads as well. That's great. I love the kind of lifestyle photograph type things here. That's exactly, I don't know what those little black things are, maybe raisins or something, but I'm imagining sitting down on the sofa reading that with my raisins, which still have their stalks in, and a cup of coffee, or tea. I don't really know what that is. I don't drink either, so yeah. These are great. I would get them boosted up the page. Anything you can do to bring credibility to people straight away. Fact that you've been seen in the BBC, fact that you've been shortlisted for awards and stuff like that. I would get that further up the page. We normally put them just above the fold, so maybe just in this section here, or maybe where the logo is, just there, as seen in, as featured in, that type of stuff. Great for building credibility. Okay, so the question I would then have is, I'm looking for a wedding photographer. Where do I go next on the site? You want to kind of guide me through in a very straightforward, pain-free and easy way. So where's the next step? It might be in info. It might be in locations. I love the fact that you've got separate location pages. This is great because you're going to be targeting wedding photographer London. You need a separate page for that, ideally. So how do you present that when the content is basically going to be, I do photographs in London, as well as I do photographs in Brighton. How do you make that difference? So we're going to have a look at how you're approaching that, but this is great. The thing that we're not getting is calls to action. Okay, we've got this get in touch in the nice scripty font. I would want some kind of box on the site which is offering me a clear next step, and it's sat there at the side of the page at all times. Thinking about booking a wedding or need a photographer for your wedding, want to inquire, something that might be really soft. Fill in the details here. I'll also send you my guide to booking the perfect wedding with a checklist that you can use for planning your big day, or something like that, right? And it's just name, email, optional phone number, short message. Tell me about your wedding, or what have you got planned, or something like that. Some people go too far. They go like, tell us the dates, tell us the location, all this type of stuff. Wouldn't bother with it at all. You're not going to be using it during the sales process. You're going to ask them that stuff anyway. Okay. Cart on the left, menu on the right, a little unusual, says Millinery Hub. Yes, I would agree. I don't understand the cart. I would possibly lose the cart. It could be really confusing. Okay, the pages look decent. The fact that we've got content looks good. Yeah, we're going to talk about marketing this in just a second because I think we are almost ready. I just want to check on how you're differentiating between the different location pages, but it's good that we've got different pages. Okay, so the layout looks pretty similar. Okay. Yeah. Oh, this is good. Okay, great. Wedding venues in Brighton. This is great because what I would be doing is optimizing a page for Fabrica Brighton wedding photographer, right? So I'd potentially even have this as a separate page and you could list some of the photos that you've taken at that venue because the number of people that search for Fabrica Brighton wedding photographer is going to be small, but that means that there's going to be very little competition for it. So if you can start to get ranked for venue plus wedding photographer, that could be great for you. So yeah, I like that. Okay, let's have a look at some visibility. I'm just going to open the old SEMrush and we're going to start having a look. So what would we do to drive ads to this site, people? What would you do if you were marketing this business? Sorry, what would we do to drive traffic? What would you do? I'm curious. If you ran a wedding photography company, what would you be doing to drive traffic? I mean, we've talked a little bit about SEO and ranking for local terms, so I'm already assuming that we're going to be doing that. But let's think about ad channels. What would we be doing? Oh. Okay, let's have a look and see what sort of visibility we've got. I find it really difficult to deal with massive resolution. Okay. Link the award images to. All right, so we've got some great suggestions on YouTube. 24 Sumo says they've used an e-commerce template for an information site. Yep. Andy says if you can link the awards images to pages on the provider site that mention you, it allows Google and users to follow the link and verify your claim of being featured awarded is true. Haha. Chris Smith says he'd advertise on Flickr. Interesting. Ryan says display ads, target local ads for the targeted area. Yep. Instagram as well. Property Millionaire Academy says Facebook ads, Google ads. Yep. Okay, what else have we got? Okay, WC says someone on Facebook. WC? Not sure. Okay. Yeah, I think Google ads, absolutely. Wedding photography is one of those areas where lots of people have under-optimized sites from a conversion perspective, i.e. they don't have clear calls to action. So you can usually get a cost per acquisition, which is much more favorable than they can, which allows you to bid more. And Instagram, Facebook ads, absolutely. One of the things that I'd probably do is run Google ads and then use retargeting with Facebook and Instagram to people that have been on the site. We've just been working on a campaign for a client this week, and I was digging through because I wanted to be on the call, and I was just having a look at the PPC strategy that the Lenker and the PPC team have used, and it's brilliant. We've actually made a video all about remarketing, retargeting strategies as a result. It's genius, and it's working a treat. So I'm going to give you the kind of 30-second synopsis of how this works. So in a space where your Google ad cost is quite high, so this business is in like high-end pet food, very high initial cost per click because it's a competitive space. Once you find a food that your dog likes, you tend to stick with it. Same in something like this. Lots of wedding photographers are going to go straight onto Google and just bid on Google and bid up, and you're going to get some dumb money in there that's just inflating the ad cost. So you've got a couple of different options. You can play that game, convert as much of the traffic as you possibly can with a great CTA. The other approach that you can take is actually bid on informational keywords in your target area. So let's say, for example, that Manon wanted to target a phrase like best wedding venues, okay? What you might do, or best wedding venues Brighton, or someone search for best wedding venues, but they're in Brighton. What the equivalent of the strategy I'm talking to you about would be creating a piece of content listing the most popular wedding venues in Brighton and then running ads to that piece, right? So you're running ads to an information piece of content. Even if you're a wedding photographer, you're not a wedding venue, so you stand to gain nothing from that initial visit. But then what you do, because you know that person is in the market for a wedding, you can then run retargeting and remarketing ads to them across YouTube, Gmail, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, offering your wedding photography services. you know that the venue is the first step in the buying process. So all you're doing is building an audience of people that are interested, that are thinking about getting married. So this is what we've been doing for the client. And just to give you some kind of ballpark stats, CPA, if you go straight through Google for the terms that we initially targeted, was about £35. Now it needs to be around about, with the profit margin of the product, it needs to be around 30% average order value. So it's going to be around £12 to break even. Everyone in the space happy to go negative on the first sale for pet food because you're buying, £2,000 customer lifetime value. So £35 straight through Google. But using this combination of targeting informational searches and then remarketing, retargeting on Facebook, CPA £14. Okay. So because no one's going to be, does this make sense? Let me know in the chat if it makes sense. But because no one's targeting informational phrases with Google ads, they're really, really low cost. You'll hardly have to pay anything, typically a tenth of the price of a commercial search. So really low cost, really high click-through rate because you've got no other advertisers to compete. So we're getting like 16% click-through rate on the ads. And then you just start building your remarketing, retargeting audience. So that would be one option with something like this. And the benefit of doing something like this now is that people are going to be researching their wedding before they're ready to start booking stuff. So what you're doing is you're collecting everyone in Brighton who is researching wedding stuff. You're you're putting them all into your remarketing, your retargeting audiences. So when the time is right, and when you think, right, people are going to start having dates now, which is when they're going to be looking for a wedding photographer, now we're going to go heavy with the remarketing and retargeting. So that would be one option to take here. So it's a kind of two-step strategy. First, driving people to content, then remarketing, retargeting to them. Can also attach ads to wedding caterers. Absolutely, Rachel. Yes, you can run ads to competitor terms, even if they're not competitors. So venue terms, catering companies, obviously all of your competitors as well. You might even have just generic kind of wedding terms like wedding ideas. If you're targeting people in that sort of area, might be something to go for. Typically, those kind of informational searches, the cost per click is going to be very cheap. So if you're happy to build the remarketing audience from those people, that can be worth it. So yeah, that's some stuff to go for. Okay, got some great suggestions here. Get some articles written about on the website about weddings and create pins for them. Yes, Pinterest, massive for this type of business. Wedding ideas, vintage wedding ideas, retro vintage folk style barn conversion wedding. Yeah, that type of thing. Absolutely great. Anyway, where were we? We've almost not looked at the site at all. Right, let's have a look at organic search traffic. Okay, organic search traffic, very low. Paid search traffic, yet to be discovered. Okay. I mean, we like the trend. We like where it's going, but at the moment, it's very minimal. So let's have a look. Now, it looks like we've actually lost quite a bit of ranking as well, or lost a number of keywords. Let's have a look and see. Okay, coastal elopements, ranking position 4. Interesting. And what's this all about? This is all about exactly what you've just been suggesting, the wild picnic coastal elopement ideas. Okay, great. So let's get the ultimate guide to wedding elopements. This is great. This is freaking awesome because the photos are stunning. So you're selling the photos even though you're not selling the photos. This is so good. So good. I'd want a call to action that sits at the side of the screen here. By the way, I'm the photographer that took all these photos. If you're planning a wedding elopement, get in contact. I love this stuff. You know, you're going to want to work on the copy, but that's the principle. Okay, so the ultimate guide to wedding elopements is your kind of headpiece, right? This is your main 6,000 words super blog, all about wedding elopements. And then we've got sub blogs underneath that, which are like coastal elopements, forest elopements. I don't really even know. This is a kind of new concept to me, I've got to be honest. So whatever. But, you know, you've got these like categories of elopements underneath that. You can write individual pieces for them. And then this kind of headpiece is the basics, and it links out to all of these. This is the fishbone strategy. It's very mature by now, but it still works. So yeah, that's the angle to take on that. Loads of potential here. So yeah, do that at scale. Happy days. Right, let's have a look at someone's site that's been submitted here. And do feel free to ask your questions in the chat because I can see all of them. Everything seems to be working miraculously. Let's see what the first one I spot is. CSO Alliance from Peter Anson. And we're going to have a look at another one in just a second. So CSO Alliance. Let's have a look at this. Peter, let us know what you're doing to drive traffic to this site, how well it's working. First thing we can spot immediately with our ninja eyes is that the page title here is not optimized. So we need to include our target keywords in the page title. One of the lowest hanging SEO, lowest hanging fruit SEO things you can do is just get your target keywords in the page title. Really simple. Our purpose and aim is our mission. So all of those words are pointless. Our mission is to improve security risk awareness and in doing so, help reduce global criminality. Okay, that's cool. I would suggest we need to take a step back from this. What are your target audience looking for when they're trying to find you? Because the first thing we need to do is hit them straight between the eyes with, we are, right? What am I looking for? I'm trying to find what the phrase is that people are searching, and I'm not sure you know. If you do know, you haven't told the website. Is this security, maritime security, right? Is it maritime security service, maritime risk management, something like that potentially? Not sure, but that's the thing that we would lead with at the above the fold here. That's the thing, bam, straight between the eyes. That's also your main target keywords. You're doing yourself some favors with SEO. Next thing I would think about, that StreamYard thing. Hide. The next thing, join now is a call to action. Way too aggressive. If I know you, fine. If I'm just coming onto the site to make a transaction, fine. If I don't know you, that's way too advanced for me. So what I might want instead is a couple of different options. I'm still not entirely sure what this business is. It's all very about us page rather than about them page. So I think we need to be a bit more focused on the target audience. Imagine your perfect customer, the person that you want to sign up for this or to join it or whatever, and you're sitting in front of them and you're talking about the benefits to them. You're selling them. Your salesperson is talking to them. If you had a salesperson that went into the sales meeting and said, good morning, our purpose is to improve security risk awareness and in doing so help reduce global criminality. They're like, great, that's you. What about me? I'm here for me. Wait, I thought this was about me, because we're all walking around thinking, what's in it for me? Why, what are you going to do to help me? So I think we need to focus more on that. So if we help security professionals mitigate security risks, what are we doing? Are we helping our members to grow their businesses? Are we helping our members to be more effective? Are we helping to educate our members? Like I don't really understand. Okay, Pete says, share ideas and information between maritime security professionals to combat organized crime. Okay, great. We share ideas and information between maritime security professionals. So the person that we're talking to is the maritime security professional, okay? So what we really want to do is hit them straight between the eyes with, here's why you need to join. Right, it's share ideas and information. What's the perceived value of that? If I'm in a creative business, maybe that's high perceived value. If I'm not in a creative business, then there has to be some other benefit to me. Typically, the benefits are it makes us healthier, it makes us wealthier, it makes us sexier, right? So usually it's one of those three. And I'm thinking possibly wealth is the one that people are going to be going through. Now, you don't just want to be, hey, we make maritime security professionals rich. But if that's the reason that they're joining, it's to grow their business or to de-risk their business or to help their business grow, that's what we need to be leading with. So I'd focus a little bit more on that. Okay, let's have a look and see. Or it could be, to increase your perceived value, to increase your authority in the space, but all of those really are tied to wealth at the end of the day. So let's have a look and see what sort of content we've got on the site. So we've got some events, which is cool. Love this. Are these your events? I'm not sure. No, I don't think they are. Okay, so this also looks like a blog as well, I'm thinking. Okay, this feels like a mixture of different things. To be honest, it feels like events, it feels like alerts, and it feels like news. So I would separate those out. You could have them as different categories underneath here, so I can click on each one to find the info that's most relevant to me. The other thing I would consider is how can we make this a place where if I search for anything to do with maritime security, up comes the CSO Alliance site with the amazing knowledge base full of information that's right for me. So we need to make this a go-to place. We don't just want to hide all of the content behind a paywall or the membership. We want some content that's visible to people on the outside so you can build your authority, build your credibility. There is loads here. I'm actually going to suggest, if you haven't already, request a free website and marketing review from exposureninja.com/review. Check this out. It's going to blow your mind. It blew my mind. So check out that. The link is in that banner, but I'd suggest requesting a review because I feel like there's a step before this that we need to start thinking about the whole marketing piece and the marketing strategy before we're ready to start driving traffic. Yeah, so that's the feedback I would give there. Okay, let's look. Where's the mouse gone? Too many screens. Let's look for some more sites. I also want to check out Ryan's site, which he dropped in here somewhere, the onlinepencompany.com. And then we'll go back to our scheduled analyses. Pete, no worries, man. There's so much potential here. There really is. You're an expertise business, so there is so much content, so much that you can do with that. And I bet that your competitors, if there are competitors even, I bet your competitors are not doing any of what you could be doing with it. So love the business, think there's loads of potential. It's almost, there's like, from a digital marketing perspective, that site is 98% potential. So this is fantastic. Okay, let's look at the online pen company, ecom, obviously. Okay, this is a decent layout site. We're going straight into categories. We don't have any kind of above the fold image to set the scene or anything like that. We're straight into the images. Images look decent. Images look pretty much matching. We've got our categories here. I mean, it's a little bit harsh judging every e-commerce site on their Black Friday because everyone's scrambling to get whatever they can up on the site. So we've got lots of different subcategories here. Okay, this is basically a category page of all of your categories. There's actually not too much homepage about this homepage, so I'd consider showing some feature products. I'd consider a bit of content on this homepage as well. I'd maybe even have a little bit about, find out more about who we are, but can you immediately set the scene as you're big fans of, the art of writing or something like that? And how can we get that message across? If your target audience is like, do you know what, when I really need to do some good quality work, I just sit with a pen and paper, right? That's the thing that we hear often, right? So can you play up on that? Is there another angle that's going to make your target audience go, right, this is, finally I found my home. I love it. So I think about that because at the moment it's very, very functional, which is fine, but we're not, it's like almost the opposite of most wedding photography sites, if that makes sense. Okay. Oh, this is a cool menu. This is like a full screen menu. I just have to see what this looks like on mobile. Let's see how that works. Okay. On mobile, not so convinced on mobile. Might be worth having a look there. Category page is going to be really important. This is very competitive space, obviously. So we've got categories by brand, we've got categories by type. So the next question is, do these have static pages or are they a search results page? We have static pages. Happy days. One thing that you might want to consider is we don't have like a hierarchy here. So this is just onlinepencompany.com/Parker. You might have something like online pen company / I'm not going to use that one as an example. Luxury fountain pens, for example. So we've got online pen company / fountain pens. If you've then got subcategories underneath that, you might want / fountain pens / whatever. So you're building authority to this core fountain pens page. This is cool. Hey, we were talking earlier about how do we get good quality text copy on a product category page. This is how you freaking do it. Love this. So we've got a bit of info there, which looks fine. Then we've got what look like, okay. It's okay, but because it's not visible on page load, it's unlikely to be weighted. I'd make that separate content pages. How to fill a fountain pen, how to write with a fountain pen. These are separate indexable pages. Because at the moment, you can't rank a pop-up. But if someone's searching for how to choose a fountain pen, that's definitely, that's your get me in there. I want that content. Like I want the ultimate guide to choosing a fountain pen for any budget and any use case, right? That's what you want. So you need these as separate pages, Ryan. This will be great though. You got the content there already, so that's great. Product images look decent as well. Let's have a look. We've got some filtering options here too, which is nice. I'd possibly think about the order of these filtering options. We want the order of filtering options to be reflecting how people search. So check out ASOS, for example. When they have a filtering option on their site, it's by the things that are most important to people. So for clothing, it's size, and then it's probably color, right? You might have a similar thing. So what's more important? Is it sub-brand model? Is it type? Or is it color? I don't know, but it might be color. It might be nib size. Like we want to put the most important filters at the top because we want to get people to the right pen for them as quickly as possible. With 334 products to choose from, this page is almost completely overwhelming. So we're relying heavily on the filter to do the work to get people to the right pens for them. Okay, let's have a look at a product page. Interesting product page layout. We've got some images here. They're not massively clear that these are other images to look through. And I'm not a massive fan of that implementation. Let's just have a look and see what it looks like on mobile. Okay, a little bit more obvious on mobile because they kind of all sit underneath. Yeah, not sure about the product page layout on mobile either. I feel like this product page layout it's deviating a little bit too much from what we would expect, and that means that it becomes slightly confusing. So I would consider a more traditional product page layout. I'd have a look at Amazon, see what they're doing. Amazon is how we've all been taught how to use the internet. So I'd potentially have a look there. It'd be interesting to look at the analytics and see what the drop-off is between category, product, and checkout. Okay. Right. I feel like you could be the pen guy, or there could be a pen gal or whatever, which is guidance for people who are buying. How do I choose? Can you do me a video which shows, I really love this one, or can you build your own categorization system, which is like ease of use, writing angle? Like, how do I choose? Can you take me through a process which is like, right, you left or right-handed? Do you tend to write with the pen upright or sideways? Do you tend to be very heavy, or are you quite light? Like, can you help me filter so I can find the right thing for me? Replicating the experience of talking to some amazing pen expert that's like, oh, right, you write really upright, so you want one that looks like this, and you want to check out these 3 models instead, to just kind of help me make sure I'm in the right place here. But other than that, function looks fine. Okay, what's Ryan saying? Not sure. It's a bespoke CMS. Okay. USPs of different pens. Yes, Rachel. Yeah, exactly. What's good about this one? Why do people choose this one over any of the others? We don't have individual reviews on this pen, so that makes it a little bit difficult as well. So what we really want to do is want to get away from, I'm just going to search for, product search, Parker Urban Fountain Pen, who's got the cheapest price, Google Shopping, Ryman, 20 quid, let's go. Right, that's what we want to get away from. So this has to be, we've got, there are other sites which are competing with Amazon. If you think about how you're going to compete with Amazon, what does Amazon do really well? Massive selection. What does Amazon do really poorly, worse than anybody else in the world, is any kind of curation and help. Amazon is a completely agnostic platform that can be totally gamed by anyone with enough budget. When you go on Amazon looking for something like a fountain pen, you quite quickly reconsider whether you even want to be alive, because there is no help whatsoever. So who's going to beat Amazon in the fountain pen category? It's going to be the business that can help people find the right pen for them and get people hooked on buying pens, get people really into this, or it doesn't have a good right. Like, can you create custom words for how these pens feel? Like, how can you just own this completely so that Amazon is just like a TK Maxx bargain basement that people just throw in all this old crap, but it's useless and you can't filter through with, because that's basically what it is. The EN person says, there's a channel on YouTube called Peter Draws with 921,000. There's clearly market for great pen enthusiasm. Fountain pen thought leader. Absolutely. Let's be the fountain pen influencer. Yes. Oh, I love it. I love it. This is such a cool space. You've got an absolute beaut of a marketing gig here, but it's going to take some work, and it's going to take thinking outside the box from just, right, let's optimize these product category pages for this content. Right, let's sling you into SEMrush and let's see what we've got going on here. What's going on with SEMrush? Let's see what we're doing with organic. Let's see what we're doing with paid as well. Okay. Oh, look, I think you joined in September. What have we got ranking wise? So engraved pens, position 2. Love that. Obviously, you know where we're going with that. Who's ranking position 1? How do you destroy them? I don't know about you, but I feel like the opportunity with engraving is to choose some freaking nice fonts. Everywhere I had to get a trophy engraved recently. Won't go into that, but the font choice is abhorrent, and a designer has not been anywhere near the engraving market for 50 years, I'm going to say. It's basically the equivalent of Comic Sans, but in luxury font. Horrible. So can you make a difference there? Online pen company, position 1. Okay, we're really looking for high traffic phrases. Parker pen, fountain pen. Position 17 for that. Position 10 for Parker pen. Cross pens, position 10. So you're on the cusp of greatness here. You're on the cusp of page 1, and I really think that big content strategy and passion and personality could take you to another level. Yeah, a lot of these categories. So, you've got some decent content here with Mont Blanc rollable refill not working. Great. So problem focused content. What's this? Is this okay, I'd look at the formatting of this. Oh, mate, the other thing, look at this, right? I've got a rollable pen issue, but I'm coming onto the site. This is just the content. And then where are the pictures? Where's how to fix this? And then here's our top most reliable rollables, right? Shop reliable rollables. Oh, this is sick. Makes me want to get into the pen space. Rollable versus ballpoint. There's your content strategy. Rollable versus ballpoint. Yeah. Okay. So comparison tables. Let's make this more engaging than just text. comparison tables, pictures, reviews, what famous writers from history have used different types, and then our best-selling rollerballs versus our best-selling ballpoints, driving people through to the category pages for those. This is sick. This is amazing. Yeah, I love it. The search traffic on some of these is great as well. And I bet that people just aren't, they're not playing with this. Let's go for rollerball versus ball pen. Let's see what we got. Pen heaven. There we go. There's some passion in the URL. So, see what we got here. Okay, great. Good. We've got images. Yeah, nice. This is good. This is the model to copy. We got the table here with the pros and cons, and we got shop now. Okay, this could be better. They could have order of preference or something like that. Ugh, what is this? Oh gosh. They got the worst looking comment section in the history of the internet, but hey, people are using it. Okay, what else have we got for this type of search? This is a great lesson for all of us, right? This is how you pick up informational traffic and turn it into a commercial search. What? Am I missing something here? Okay, so this is your current approach, but they've at least added links to their categories. I'd try and embed the products in these info posts. Okay, so much potential here. I haven't got through anywhere near as many sites as we wanted to today, but hopefully it's been useful. We got 5 minutes later. Turn it into a WikiHow style page. Yeah, pen swap in Reddit. Yeah, let's just get some of the biggest Reddit influencers to start talking about pens on our site. Let's see if you can get some big pen influencers. A little bit like how My Protein did in the early days, where they'd invite high-profile bloggers. AO used to do this with mummy bloggers as well. AO had a massive content section on their site where they invited mummy bloggers to talk about pretty much anything they wanted. They just wanted to give them a platform. And it was amazing for their organic traffic. So you could do a similar thing. Let's get some writing tutorials from influencers, and you can send them some pens. This is a platform that they can use or whatever. Let's have a pen shoot off. Let's send a whole bunch of pens to some influencer and see what they think, and let's see which one they go for. So there's quite a lot that you could do there. Okay, I'm just trying to get the SEMrush back because I'm being logged out. We're going to have a look at some ads, then we're going to wrap up. And you're all going to go and grab your... How do you get Reddit people to talk about your product? Send them a free sample, says Springs. Yeah, they're just influencers. It's just another platform, right? We'd love to get your opinion. We've just launched this new product. Can we get your opinion? So when you're doing influencer outreach, if they're smaller influencers, you can reach out and say, hey, we'd love you to write something for our site. But if they're larger influencers, you might just want to send them some gifts, right? Send them some, look, we've been following you for a while. We really love you in the space. We'd love to send you some pens, right? Really straightforward. And then you can start to build a relationship up with them, and then that can turn into stuff. So the pen company looks like advertising research is not there, but we are running some display ads. So Google Shopping is a bit of a no-brainer for a business like this. Personalized pen gifts. So it looks like you're running some display ads back in 2019. Didn't last long. Looks like they lasted less than a month, which, yeah, they're either so good you had to immediately turn them off, or the opposite. Are we running any Google Shopping? Let's have a look. Yes, a little bit. Okay, Fountain Pens UK, Parker Jotter. Okay, so with Google Shopping, it'd be kind of interesting to know what the margins are on each of these different pens, and are there pens which are, an indication that someone is going to be much more into pens. Parker Jotter, I don't know anything about pens, but I know that Parker Jotter is like their least expensive one. So it's either a gateway into nice pens, or it's the most commoditized Parker possible, in which case you might want to go for something else, like the Parker Duofold. If that's like amazing, super sick, high-end pen, someone who's spending £318 on a pen probably isn't buying only one pen. They're probably buying a few. They're probably into it a little bit. So it might be worth filtering and playing with the budgets here. Certainly Uniball Signo at $195. I'm struggling to see where the ROI would be on running any paid ads to a product like that. unless people are buying 100 packs, right? So I'd think about some of these and maybe removing them from the from Merchant Center and saying that we don't want to run ads on anything that we can't make a profit on, or that is going to indicate someone's going to be a repeat customer in the future. Okay. Recently moved from traditional shopping to smart shopping campaigns. Search still needs work. Okay, got it. If you want some help, obviously, Exposure Ninja, you know us intimately. Ryan is actually an ex-ninja. Yeah, you know where to find us. Great. Well, thank you, everyone, for joining us. Thank you for the new format, sticking with it. It looks like it works. Looked like we all survived. So I'm personally delighted about that. We've got lots of people on LinkedIn and Facebook and YouTube. So thank you, everyone, for joining us, whatever platform you joined on. We're going to be here every Friday at 10:30. You can submit your site to be analyzed. We go through the comments and we pull out all of the sites that have been submitted and put them in a big list. And then every week I go through as many as I possibly can. Tends to work out about 4. So we're it's an ever-growing to-do list, but do submit your site if you want it to be picked up. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. Enjoy Black Friday. Don't buy anything that you wouldn't buy at full price is the main rule. And yeah, talk soon. Enjoy.